Good morning, everyone. It is the Public and Protected Services Committee meeting here today on Tuesday, April 15th. I am your chair, Councillor Chris Thiessen, joined today by Mayor Jackie Clayton, Councillor Blackmore, and Councillor Berg as my committee members. And we'll start this meeting off by calling it to order. This meeting has been called to order, and I'll look for a motion to adopt the agenda. Councillor Berg.
Thank you, Chair Thiessen. I'd like committee to adopt the agenda as presented.
Motion is in order. I'll call to question. And that carries 4-0. Moving down our agenda for today, we have no delegations, so we'll move right into reports. We'll start with our service area update, and I'll turn it over to Chief Lemieux for that bit of business.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'll start my update with information from Mobile Outreach. Mobile Outreach has received continued funding through a Government of Alberta grant supporting the dedicated position of needle mitigation workers. So this role is essential in addressing public safety concerns regarding discarded needles and other drug-related debris throughout the community. In 2024, 92 calls were responded to for needle debris, and 7,417 needles were collected through service response and proactive measures. City of Grande Prairie remains committed to ensuring the safety and well-being of all residents and is proud to partner with the province in creating pathways to recovery for individuals affected by addiction. From the RCMP, Camp Little Buffalo will take place on August 12th to the 15th, and we're aiming to have upwards of 30 youths, age 10 to 12, involved this year. Later this month, digital applications will be given to many of our community partners, including local schools and youth-focused organizations. Corporal Owl from the Community Engagement and Diversity Unit will be assisting with organizing the camp. And on March 30th, the Grande Prairie members arrested a female for her outstanding warrants. Once back in the cell block, the female had a medical emergency resulting in her no longer breathing. Members immediately provided first aid to the female and quickly determined that the female may be suffering from an overdose and therefore administered Narcan. Due to the quick thinking of Constable Dodd and other members, the female began to breathe, and EMS then arrived and transported the female to the hospital for further treatment. Nominations for the St. John Ambulance Life Saving Awards are being completed as a result of that incident. From the Recreation Department, the ice at the Dave Barr Community Centre was removed to prepare for the 2025 ball hockey season, which started on April the 7th. The one-week transition from ice surface to dryland pad included ice removal, repair and maintenance, and painting new court lines to ensure the facility is ready for multi-sport use. The successful changeover reflects a collaborative effort from Parks, Transportation, and Arena Operations to provide the high-quality facilities for the community, so we appreciate all of their work. At the Eastlink Centre, we're working on a new real-time amenity status system. So the guest services team at Eastlink Centre have successfully completed training and the internal soft launch of what we're going to call Access Now. This Access Now tool will communicate the real-time status of facility amenities to the public via the city website. So we've had issues in the past, and so we're really excited about this new tool that will tell people within 15 to 20 minutes the real-time status of all amenities at the Eastlink Centre. We did a soft launch on April the 7th. We're doing some more testing, but we are planning on going live with this new tool, full rollout schedule for April 21st, which is this coming Monday. So this phased approach has ensured seamless transition and hopefully will improve the experience of both team members and guests. The 2024 Alberta Bowl that was held at Hanson Lincoln Field was honored with the Sport Event of the Year award at the Grande Prairie Subaru Sport Excellence Awards on April 11th. That was hosted by Grande Prairie Regional Sport Connection. So this award recognizes the overall success of an exceptional single-sport, multi-sport, or collegiate event hosted in northwestern Alberta in 2024. So congratulations to the organizing committee, the dedicated volunteers, and staff for their outstanding efforts in delivering such a successful event. And from events and programming, the Easter Extravaganza at Musco CP Park is taking place this Saturday, April 19th, and it's officially sold out. The Grande Prairie Storm swept the Whitecourt Wolverines in 4 games to claim the AJHL North Championship, and Bonnet's Energy Centre will host Games 3 and 4 of the finals on April 22nd and 23rd, and tickets are available at the Bonnet's Energy box office. Bachman Turner Overdrive rocked Bonnet's Energy Center with a high-energy performance on April the 9th, and the Bonnet's Energy box office is currently selling tickets for over 21 upcoming events at Northwest Polytechnic. Those are their shows. They're scheduled for May and June. In addition to ticket sales, the box office team provides on-site support at NWP during show days. From Housing and Community Development, with regards to our Aging Well Together planned community information sessions on the endorsed Aging Well Together action plan will begin this May. The first 3 sessions are scheduled at the same lodges that participated in the initial engagement sessions, allowing us to close the loop and share how their input shared the plan. So on May the 1st, we'll be at the Up Manor, May the 6th will be at James Manor, and May the 7th will be at Wild Rose Manor. From the Grande Prairie Fire Department, they held their awards and graduation ceremony on April the 11th. So 8 new firefighters graduated from the GPFD training program. And it was announced at that awards night that the Firefighter of the Year award went to firefighter Mark Brazier. So congratulations to Mark. And this week is Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, and announced again on Friday, April the 11th, the Dispatcher of the Year award went to Lydia Larive, so we'd like to congratulate her. And lastly, from Emergency Management, the new GPREP manager, Mr. Jamie Hannaford, starts in his new role on Monday, April 21st. So he will be introduced to committee in the near future. And that's my report, Mr. Chair. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
My goodness, Chief Lemieux, does anything happen in your service area? That was quite the extensive list. Thank you so much for that report. And yeah, congrats from our committee to our winners of our firefighter awards and our new recruits, and a special congratulations to Lydia and Mark for their extremely awesome awards for Firefighter and Dispatchers of the Year. And also, I'd just like to say a big thank you to Constable Dodd for acting quickly at the top of this report hour and saving a life. And regardless of one life, regardless of the circumstances, hopefully that'll be a life that'll change the world for the better. So thank you very much, Mr. Dodd. I'll turn it over now to Councillor Blackmore for questions.
Thank you, Councillor Thiessen. So I have questions about the access program that you're rolling out at the Eastlink Centre. Will this require users to always log on to the city site to see the status of the building, or will they still, if they have registered, will they still receive emails and or text messages if pools close or anything changes?
Yeah. So thank you, Mr. Chair. So right now, members receive emails. Now, we have missed a couple occasions where the email didn't go out or didn't go out in a timely fashion. This new access now will be on the city website. It'll be on the Eastlink website. So people can, do they have to log on? They can mark that page and quickly go to that page. It will always be up to date within 20 minutes after any closures.
Okay. And what's taking place to ensure those emails actually roll out? Because, in fact, they have not been consistent at all for at least 6 months.
So thank you, Mr. Chair. So my understanding is the emails go to members, people that are registered as members. So Access Now hopefully will allow better communication with the people that are drop-in and people that have punch cards, because if you have a punch card or you're drop-in, you're not registered, therefore you may not, you wouldn't be getting that email. The emails go to members, registered members.
Okay, but that wasn't actually my question. There has not been consistent delivery of emails to members for at least 6 months. So what have we done to ensure that those emails are going out as promised?
Chief Lemieux?
Yeah, so that's not my understanding. The emails have been going out. So our records show that emails have been going out. So if a member hasn't been getting an email for 6 months, that's we've looked at it, and that's not something that we've found out.
Okay, well, I have 2 members who live in my house. So they should, it's just not, we can talk about that offline.
I'd be happy to.
But it is still an issue, I believe. Thank you.
I'd be happy to, but we have checked records, and our records show that emails have gone out and emails have been open, except for maybe one or two.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Blackmore. It could also be possible that I know it happens on some of my email servers that it gets pushed off to like a junk folder or spam mail or whatever, and sometimes that's just an automatic designation. But I'm not making excuses. I know you two will talk offline. I do have a follow-up question in regards to the Access Now program, Chief Lemieux, and then I'll get to you, Councillor Burke. All right. Okay. Then I'll go to Jackie, and then I'll go to Councillor Burke for questions. Is it possible to get the text message notifications through the Access Now program? Is that built into the system? Does it have the capability, maybe not now, but in the future, to be able to reach out to members who sign up for the program?
So my understanding is the text messaging program is something that people have to register to, and they have to click certain notifications they want to get. So we'll look at, once we've got Access Now up and running, we'll see whether the two can be linked. Right now, they won't be.
Okay. No, thanks for that answer. I'll turn it over to Mayor Clayton.
Chair Thiessen, echoing some of Councillor Blackmore's comments, I'm curious in regards to the engage.cityofgp.com, where people can sign up for text messaging. Would the communication from the Eastlink also go through that platform? And just this morning, I got a text that there was no hot water at the Eastlink until 10:30. So I think I've been strongly encouraging people to sign up for the texts because they are instant. But will the content of the text be similar to what the Access emails that are being sent out? Would that content be similar, or do people need to sign up for both, I guess?
So for now, the Access Now is on the city website, so people can go and check it at any time. We're going to look at whether we can link the two in the future. Right now, they will not be linked.
Okay, thank you. So again, just Councillor Thiessen, I would remind people to sign up for engage.cityofgp.com. From there, you can pick whether you want instant updates on snow removal in your neighborhood. I've picked all neighborhoods, so I never know actually when it's my neighborhood because I'm curious. But you can pick your neighborhood, you can pick Eastlink, you can pick any sort of area of subject matter, and the texts are not overwhelming. They're very concise and very factual, and I encourage people to register for that program. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Mayor Clayton. That is why you're the leader. I was going to give the same reminder, but I think I was skipping on some of the details you added. So thanks for that for our general public. Now I'll turn it over to Councillor Burke for questions.
Yeah, thanks, Chair Thiessen. Chief Lemieux, your fire. I'm just kind of curious. We're heading into our fire season for grass fire, forest fires, and history tells me those first 2 weeks of May have been particularly bad with Dunes West, but also Slave Lake and Fort McMurray. I just drove down to central Alberta this past weekend and saw 4 different grass fires and fire trucks out just along the highways. So to me, it seems fire season may have started a little bit early. I know that our fire department is always ready and prepared. And again, congratulations to the winners. Just like an update with where we are as we prepare for fire season.
Chief Lemieux.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So our fire department has recently attended a information session with Alberta Forestry in terms of preparations. I'm going to say a few weeks ago, we had 10 active fires burning in Alberta. That's compared to 76 at this time last year, so less fires. However, and we did receive a bit more moisture in our particular area. However, the current winds and warm temperature does increase the risk. So preparations have been made, meetings have been held with Alberta Forestry. The county and the city work very closely in plans to prepare. We'll also be putting a real heavy emphasis on fire smarting your properties this year, as we've discussed at our last meeting. So all of those plans are in place. And again, we encourage people to be very careful because things dry up very quickly. So although we have had a lot of moisture, depending on whether we get the April rains or not, situation could deteriorate and become a high hazard in early May.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
Thank you for those answers, Chief. Thank you, Councillor Burke. Any other questions for Chief Lemieux on his Director Service Area or Chief Service Area? Seeing none, Thank you for your report. And we'll move right on to our second report, being the point-in-time counts 2024. And I will turn it back over to Chief Lemieux to introduce us.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm going to invite Melissa Tucker, our Social Policy Policy Advisor, and Tammy Wenzel, our Director of Housing and Community Development, to present the report on the point-in-time count for 2024.
Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Good morning. Today I'm sharing the results of Grande Prairie's 2024 point-in-time count and providing updated information on our community's coordinated access system and homelessness response. On October 9th, 2024, Grande Prairie participated in the nationally standardized point-in-time count. This initiative provides a snapshot of both the number of people experiencing homelessness and the circumstances they face, capturing data on a single night. In Grande Prairie, at least 387 residents were identified as experiencing homelessness in a variety of settings, including emergency shelters, transitional housing, and unsheltered locations. This number reflects an 18% increase from the 2022 count, with the most notable rise being in unsheltered homelessness. I would like to note that this increase is likely due in part to expanded data collection, especially the use of mobile outreach data and youth outreach efforts, which helped us connect and enumerate individuals who may have been missed in past years. While the point-in-time count number has increased, it also reflects how our community has strengthened its ability to identify and respond to residents in need. Our community's progress in responding to homelessness has been made possible through strong leadership and sustained investment from City Council. Aligned with Council's overarching priority of quality of life, this work supports the goal of building an inclusive and connected and resilient community. Since 2020, the City has made many high-impact investments to support vulnerable residents. These include the purchase of the Street Outreach Center building and Cedar Point that offers both supportive and affordable housing units, various land and property transfers for new housing developments, financial contributions to the new Youth Emergency Shelter building, along with the recent lease agreement for the 42 apartment units in Fletcher House. Council has also provided operating and grant funding to programs like mobile outreach, youth support services, and food security. In addition, to further strengthen our community's efforts, the City has recently launched a new homelessness data system called HIFIS, the Homeless Individuals and Families Information System. This system allows us to better coordinate services, track trends over time, and ultimately respond more effectively to the needs of individuals and families experiencing homelessness. Finally, to assist those experiencing homelessness or residents at risk, administration has created a user-friendly guide titled Your Guide to Accessing Housing Supports in Grande Prairie. This guide outlines how our community's coordinated access system works to move people along the housing continuum, from homelessness to long-term supportive and market housing, with wraparound supports available as needed. This resource will be published on the City's website and includes contact information for residents needing eviction or housing support. Wraparound supports are key to helping people stay housed. While a lack of affordable housing is a major factor in homelessness, many individuals also face other complex challenges. Addressing these barriers increases the likelihood of long-term housing success. To give an example of how the coordinated access system works, someone may start out unsheltered while also struggling with substance use. Their first step might be entering a 6-month residential treatment program at Rising Above. Once their program is complete, they may move into transitional housing through Wapiti's Foundation's program, and eventually into affordable housing at a location like the 3rd floor of Cedar Point, living independently with periodic check-ins from one of Centrepoint Facilitation's case managers. This kind of step-by-step support to move along the continuum to living independently can easily take over a year to achieve, but it is made possible through strong collaboration between community service providers and the City. It's this level of system coordination, often through the Housing Hub table, that helps break the cycle of homelessness and leads to real lasting change. Thank you, and I welcome any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much, Ms. Tucker. I do have at least one question in the queue set up, and I'll go to Councillor Berg.
Yeah, thanks, Chair Thiessen, and thanks, ladies, for this report. I always appreciate data and information. Just kind of curious, around some of that data, were you capturing why these people are currently homeless? Again, a few things that I could think of. Mental illness is one, financial instability, family situations. Have you captured that as you did the data?
Thank you, through the chair. Yes, the count is kind of done in two parts. One is that collection of administrative data, which is, the community partners submitting their numbers of the individuals that they know are homeless and accessing services. And then the night of the count involves a survey. And so that is usually a smaller amount of individuals are surveyed during that time. It's who our community partners, as they go out, are able to find and ask the questions. But some of those questions are about exactly as you mentioned, the reasons. So we do know that substance use and mental health are kind of the top ranking reasons, as well as just not having the income for housing, as the supports that are available tend to be a bit lower than, say, the average rental costs. We know that usually it's kind of multiple factors, so they're able to sort of rate it, which ones are impacting them. So there's that question. I think on page 4 of the report that was attached as a part of your package, it kind of gives that individual barriers to housing. So substance use was 77% indicated that they were experiencing substance use related issues.
Okay, thanks, ladies.
Thank you, Councillor Berg. Councillor Blackmore.
Thank you, Councillor Thiessen. I have a couple questions. One is I need you to clarify for me. If I get back up here on this report, we list in 2024 that 21 people are staying in hotel rooms and are still classed as homeless. Are we picking up the cost of that hotel room? Is that why we know they're there? Or how do we know they're in a hotel and homeless, not just moving through on a job?
Ms. Tucker?
Thank you for the question through the chair. Those results would have been provided by an organization in our community that's supporting the individuals in the hotel. So no, the city would not be picking up the cost of those hotels. It would be through the organization.
Okay. And then my other question is on your summary report, the migration to Grande Prairie. First of all, the question is, you say 42% originated from northwestern Alberta communities in the Grande Prairie area. Can you tell me what you're defining as in the Grande Prairie area?
Ms. Tucker?
Thank you, through the chair. So I think that knowing that Grande Prairie is sort of that regional hub, and that I think that that's kind of just the wording in terms of, unfortunately, the question isn't incredibly specific, but they would have been asking, because the options are kind of Northwest Alberta, if you're not from the general Grande Prairie area. So I don't know how in depth they go as to, did you come from the county, if that's kind of what you mean, or whether they're just saying, do you feel as though you're from Grande Prairie, and then did you come from a community that would be outside of Grande Prairie's typical service area? I don't know if that answers.
Well, it tells me that the question itself is not clear, that you're asking people. So I'm going to assume that when you say in the Grande Prairie area, you mean actually the northwest corner of the province. That's kind of what it sounded like to me from your explanation.
Yes, I think that would be correct. There's Grande Prairie, so whether they feel that they're from Grande Prairie, that may be, like you said, a little bit up for debate, whether they'd consider themselves to be from Grande Prairie if they had originally come from, say, Sexsmith. And then Northwestern Alberta would be all of Northwestern Alberta. The options are Northwestern Alberta, Edmonton region, other locations in Alberta, and then kind of out of province, out of country. So I agree, it is a little vague.
Okay. And I just would like to note that it is, as we suspected, 33% of people are arriving here to access services and then not returning to their home communities. So it's always good to have your data confirm what your beliefs are. Thanks.
Thank you for that, Councillor Blackmore. I'll move it over to Mayor Clayton.
Then I just wanted to confirm the project, which is funded by the federal government. We don't have input on the questions, correct? Those are federal government questions. And if we do have input, to Councillor Blackmore's comment, can we fine tune those questions next time we do a point in time count?
Thank you for the question. So part of the questions are developed largely, it is kind of a national methodology. There is some flexibility in working with the other 7 cities on what the questions in Alberta look like. I think that what we'll find now too is, as we've mentioned, that administrative data, we have now kind of have a better centralized system with using HIFIS, and some of these questions like that, we can tailor locally to be more specific, so that local data that we're collecting with our service providers in the community, if that's a question that we want to get more specific about, then within that data, we would be able to collect it that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess where I'm going is somebody's at, to me, I don't care if they're from the county of Grande Prairie or the city of Grande Prairie, but if they're coming from Peace River as a corrections release, that's what I want to know. So, thanks. Which I can get through, sort of get, but not completely. Thanks.
Thanks for that, Mayor Clayton. I'll look for other questions. I have one. So in the data and the point in time count, 50% almost, about 48% experienced chronic homelessness throughout the past year. At the same time, we increased our numbers, I guess, by 29% for people coming into the community as well. And that representation of the 387 homeless individuals is about 112. Do we have a differential between the number of people who were experiencing homelessness throughout the entire year versus the people who came in? The reason I ask that question is someone could have came in during the summertime, been right there at a point in time account, been a month unsheltered, and been classified as homeless. But what we're really trying to solve, I think, and hope, is chronic homelessness and finding spaces for people to live, or at least hopefully the services that help them get better. So do we know in these stats how many of those 112 people who came into Grande Prairie to experience homelessness last year experienced it throughout the whole year?
Thank you for the question. Through the chair, I would say that the point in time count itself maybe doesn't give us a clear answer. I'd have to look a little bit more at the numbers. We have probably other data that would maybe better answer that question that we could, through Chief Lemieux, send to council.
Okay, and just in regards for the potential, so the City of Grande Prairie has undertaken several initiatives to help people get back on their feet. Just did a tour of the Fletcher building here recently. Of course, we have the Cedar Point building, Oasis, Willow Place, lots of others, the new youth emergency shelter. Do we know what our capacity to fill is? So let's say we have 40 open spaces. Can we get some of those 387 people experiencing homelessness into those spaces by the end of the year and offset those numbers?
Thank you for the question through the chair. So again, we have many different data points. This is just the one data point. So when we're looking at housing people in the different locations, we're really looking at the kind of persona of the people that we currently have that are homeless, and do they fit that model or not. Currently, Fletcher House has only 7 units left, which are all basically ready to move into. Cedar Point, we are at like 75% capacity. The 3rd floor, we probably will be full by the end of this month. I know with the transitional housing at our youth shelter, they were seeing over the winter, very high numbers. They are thinking that they're going to see reduced numbers in the summertime, as we always do in all of our shelter situations. So right now, most of the initiatives in our community are currently at capacity, with 1 or 2, maybe 5 to 6 places that it's available. So to answer the question of the 387, that was just that night. If we actually looked at the data, I would say that number's a lot less right now than what we had that night.
And that's from people potentially leaving the town and saying, oh, I'm going to go where I have more support or where I have friends and family to crash at and get back on my feet.
And with the summer weather, we see a lot of people moving around. They choose camping over living at the shelter. So it's definitely a harder question to answer with the number of people and the needs, because each season brings different numbers. Like if I just checked our numbers this morning for our wait list for the hub table, and we're only currently at 52. So that means that we only have 52 people right now that have had a SPDAT that are ready to be housed. But if we looked at our by names list, which means that over the past, in February, we had approximately 257 of the people that have touched homelessness in some capacity. So the numbers vary so much depending on what data you're looking at.
Okay, no, I really appreciate that answer. Thanks for that. Just a quick reminder, how many spaces do we have available on the 3rd floor of Cedar Point?
Thank you for the question through the chair. We currently have 42 units available. As of yesterday, we have 14 people living there, but the applications and the approval, we have about another, I think, 10 people ready to move in that's been approved.
Okay, so about 18 spaces left. Okay, thank you. I have two non-committee members. I'll look to my committee members. I don't see any questions coming from them, so I'll go to Councillor O'Connor and then Councillor Platt.
Thank you very much for the report. I really appreciate this. It gives a better lens of what's happening in our community. On your chart, for it shows ethnicity. Whatever, you try and say it. Anyway.
Just did.
Ethnicity.
So, of the non-Indigenous, do you know or do you track how many are immigrants that have come here to find work and can't? So I'm just interested to find out, is there a gap there that needs to be looked at?
Ms. Tucker.
Thank you, through the chair. So for that question specifically, we don't go into the specifics of cultural backgrounds for our questions, but we do, for the question about the that relates to migration, ask if they originally came from outside of Canada. So right now, that is a fairly small percentage that indicated that they were from outside of Canada, but that's definitely something that is on our radar to be tracking kind of over time, as we know that our immigrant population is increasing and everything. So right now it still is fairly small, but definitely one of those trends to be monitoring.
Yeah, I think Councillor O'Connor, the point in time count gives us a quick snapshot over some of the stuff we try to drill down and get the details on. I can tell you, according to the point in time count report, that small percentage is about 7% of our land and immigrant population has experienced homelessness at some point in the last year. If that's helpful, Councillor Platt.
Thanks, Chair Thiessen. Sticking with our the ethnicity of the report, there's 43% are coming up as Indigenous. I know our council's been trying to work with First Nation leaders and groups. With this report, what does it do to those conversations? I guess we've been told on some of those meetings that they want to try to help their people. So I'm just wondering, when I see 43%, such a high number, what happens with this report when it goes to those elders now? Is there a process now to go meet with the First Nations with this report, or is it just more for internal for the city?
Ms. Wenzel?
Thank you for the question. That's a really good question. So a part of what we do is we have our Community Advisory Board on Homelessness. So about a year ago, the federal government split the funding between designated funding and Indigenous funding now. So the Grande Prairie Friendship Center receives the full amount of Indigenous funding, where the city sits on that committee as well. So when we go to that committee meeting, we will share this report as well with them. So hopefully from that report and me sharing it at that meeting, they'll be able to look at the numbers and look at what we can be doing differently. We do have some really good programs in place. Over the years, even if you look at the data from the year that we started to now, we've always had a very high population of people who identify as Indigenous through our reporting. And consistently year over year, we're still seeing the same numbers, that 40 to 50% of people identifying as Indigenous. And if you did a little bit of deeper, even diving into this report, I think if we look at kind of a large percentage of people have identified of coming through the child welfare system, which kind of correlates with our Indigenous population who've been in that system, as well as even if you look at our population of our youth, we're seeing a large percentage of people identifying, even in this report, as entering into homelessness as youth. So I think that there's a lot of prevention or a lot of initiatives we need to look at around prevention. How are we going to prevent our youth, our people that are in our child and family system not entering into homelessness? So there is definitely gaps and challenges when we're looking at the numbers even in this report.
Okay. No, I appreciate that, because I believe someone there was saying by the age of 25, most of these folks have been identified, which is a scary cycle. So hopefully our Sunrise Youth Shelter can play a role in this in the future moving forward. So thank you for that. Yeah,
no, 52%, that's very high, identifying as entering into homeless as children. It's very high.
Super.
Councillor Blackmore. Yeah, see if we've got all our questions asked out. Obviously, we have more discussion for later with these ladies here, probably, but I'll turn it over to you, Councillor Blackmore.
For information.
That motion is in order. Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, I'll call the question.
Mayor Clayton in favor.
That motion carries. Thank you so much for this report, ladies. It's valuable work that you're doing to help council and our community address the issues facing homelessness, addiction, and otherwise childhood poverty as well seem to come up here today in the round of questions. So appreciate it. All right, moving right along, we have no other reports, no other items on the agenda except for our outstanding items list, and I'll turn that over to Chief Lemieux for a brief rundown.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And there's no needed changes to the outstanding items list report.
Okay, thank you for that. I'll turn it over to Councillor Burke.
Thank you, Chair Thiessen. I'd like to move committee receive the April 15th outstanding items list as presented for information.
Thank you very much. That motion is in order. We'll call to question. This is pretty good. We used to be at 3 pages. It must be the chair. Hey, Mayor Clayton. All right, that motion carries. And with that, this committee meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for taking part and attending today, online or in person. And we'll see you next time.